That can only be done after the constitution has been amended to say that, look, for you to elect or to take this, it has to be advertised. But as it is now, the president is simply performing what the constitution says. It's wishing something is different from the reality. That is the wish of people. The OI's report has not been adopted or has not been made into law or has not been enshrined in the constitution, and so it has no place. And if there are some certain aspects of it that tally with what the constitutional requirement says, maybe they can put that. But as it is now, it is not part of it.
Is it not enough? Sorry, is it not enough that the opposition has cast aspersions on integrity? Well, maybe not exactly on integrity, but on the affiliation, so to speak, on their fears. And the fact that they've raised any fear at all should be enough grounds for us to say we'll drop this candidate or reconsider another set of candidates. Because I know that you have raised the example of Professor Atahiru Jega, that he was appointed as well on recommendations. But we'll all recall that when Professor Jega was nominated, a host of people hailed the president's decision, including the opposition. But in this particular case, they're finding faults. So isn't it enough grounds for us to say, well, since they're not exactly comfortable with this, maybe we should find other options?
It's practically impossible for the president to make appointments that you find the opposition will not fault it in one way or the other. To say that the president will make all his appointments and the opposition will hail it and say, oh, look, you have made the right decisions, is not possible.
In something as critical as an electoral commission, isn't it very important? Maybe not in ministries and parastatals, but something as critical as an electoral commission, someone who's supposed to serve as the umpire.
I don't have to repeat myself on that. Before you even say so, I've already said categorically that, left to me, somebody who is going to be an umpire should be neutral. Didn't I say so?
Yes, you did.
So you see, there is no need.
But this is another angle now. What if we raise objections that this person might not exactly be neutral? If you raise the objections
and you have the proof and you can substantiate it, so be it. And then it is left for the president to take the decision whether this can't actually be a subject that he should discard of or he shouldn't. But what I'm saying is that, look, we should not be so emotional about something we cannot substantiate. And by the time we say that, look, the person is an affiliate, is there anything that affiliating with a political party? Because you have friends.
Dr. Dogo, why wouldn't people be emotional about what they really can substantiate? For instance, if you were a speaker of Kaduna House of Assembly in maybe times past, it's a known fact that you were once upon a time a speaker. And if you're elected to be an umpire, electoral umpire, those who knew you then should make some kind of objections to all of that. That is why they're saying that some of those people were card-carrying members. They have evidence against them, and as we speak, nothing has been done about their nominations.
They have been nominated. They have not been sworn in.
So the time to speak up is now.
Exactly. That is it. That is the difference. If the person has been nominated and you feel that the person is not qualified, as we are discussing, so we should discuss it and we should make suggestions. You see, and I believe that the president is a listening person. He's not that kind of a person that will just say, look, I damn the consequences of whatever people say. If the weight of what people are saying is actually, against, and let me tell you the truth. You see, opposition should not just be the people that should oppose something like that. I believe that the civil society should be involved. I, for one, as part of it, I'll say, look, if this person is known to be a card-carrying member of any political party, I think the person should be disqualified.
Okay.
If I'm given the position now and say, look, go and be, I will decline.
Dr. Dogo.
Because I'm not going to be impartial.
Because you're a member of PDP.
Yes.
Okay, Dr.
Now
Dogo,
we're getting somewhere.
One of the people, or one of the names mentioned by the opposition in their reaction was a speaker between 1999 and 2003. Then he was the resident electoral commissioner in the 2007 elections in Benue State, and there were some controversies around the elections. Some petitions arose. Also, he was the resident electoral commissioner in charge of the rerun elections in Delta State, January 2011. In April 2011, he was also the resident electoral commissioner in charge of the elections in Delta State. Again, there were petitions arising from these three elections in these two states. Now, with this kind of person being re-nominated for a reappointment, what does it say of the will of the political class to bring about political reforms?
Well, you see, in subjects that I do not have the details, I don't always want to comment on them. And there are some subjects that are in court. At times, it is probably not very wise to comment on them as well. But, you know, political reforms, it doesn't have any problem with this. You know, when you talk of political reforms, you are looking at a system. And when you are talking of a system, you want to change the system. You want to put something in place that will stand the test of times. Whoever comes can operate it without any problems. That is the difference. So there is no issue of saying that, look, it has any conflict with the issue of political reforms. If some certain steps have been taken in the past that do not conform with what you expect that morality expects you to do, it is not the same as saying that, look, people don't have the will for political reforms. And remember, political reforms is not an issue of an individual. It's an issue of the system. I have said here categorically that, left to me, it is not an issue of just amending the Constitution. It's not an issue of selective something. It is something that requires a surgical operation. This Constitution cannot stand the test of times. And if you have a document that you have to go on reviewing it and you are amending it over and over again, it means that there is a fundamental problem with it. And if there's a fundamental problem with it, you do not look at those things on the surface. You look at the root causes of what is wrong with it. And you go and do a comprehensive surgical operation so as to come up with a document that may not necessarily be perfect, but will be near the level of perfection, which on the whole will be accepted. How many times do you hear that the American Constitution is being amended by the National Assembly or the British? Britain does not have a written constitution per se in that respect. But those other advanced democracies that you find out that they are constantly reviewing and amending the Constitution, it means that the Constitution is less than what it should be. So constitutional reforms are necessary. But it shouldn't be the work of the National Assembly to do that. It should be the Nigerian people that should review and amend. In fact, in my view, if you will ask me as a political scientist, I will say that we need a comprehensive new constitution.
So now, if we talk about review of the Constitution, is it a wholesale review or just a look at this particular clause of the Constitution and amend it?
I'm not actually talking of reviewing the Constitution. I'm talking of rewriting the Constitution.
Entirely?
Entirely.
Why do you say so?
Oh, because there are so many shortcomings in the Constitution. I'm not saying that we cannot operate it now. Yeah, we can operate it, but we need to rewrite the Constitution so as to have a document that will stand the test of times, a document that we will not have to be amending it over and over again. Look, if the National Assembly is going to spend time, doing this, look at how it takes. Instead of spending time coming up with laws that will impact positively on the lives of the common man, then you are looking at fundamental issues. And those fundamental issues, the National Assembly does not have the monopoly of wisdom and knowledge of doing what they think they should do. Remember, many of them don't even know much about what Constitution is. Many of them do not even understand the principles of how to write a Constitution and why you write a Constitution and how it should be written, and the process through which a constitution is written. Also remember the way this constitution was written. This constitution was simply, how do I put it, a military document. The constitution that we had in 1979 is, if you look at it and you compare the two, you will find that there is a big difference, and it is more operational and adaptable to the Nigerian situation than the 1999 constitution. And therefore, if we are talking of constitution, we Nigerians should actually rewrite the constitution. Whatever time and process is going to take to do that, we need to do it, and the time is now. To delay is a waste of time.